What the heck is going on in Wandavision? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Diz TV. If this is your first time here, welcome home. We're so glad to have you. And as you could tell, I'm here to review the first 3 episodes of Wandavision. I didn't get to the first 2 because, moving. But let's go ahead and kick this off because there's a lot to talk about. And there's not going to be a lot I understand. Because I don't know what's going on. Each episode is going to take a homage to some of the more popular shows of that decade. So we start off in the 50s, which that was Leave It to Beaver, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, I believe the 2010s even, with The Office and stuff. So again, the first episode is very Leave It to Beaver inspired. And that's great. I've seen the show a couple of times, not too much, but this episode is a good start. It definitely is the weirdest entry into the MCU. It's all of this is the weirdest entry into the MCU because you're taking a look at something completely different, something outside of Marvel's norm. They're more for action, adventure, and sci-fi, and this is comedy. And not that Marvel isn't not known for comedy, but it's comedy, it's sitcom, it's all this stuff that Marvel hasn't done before. So it definitely is a interesting direction. We get to see Wanda and Vision together. Of course, they have their little intro thing, which is cute. It's fun. It's, your usual stuff, I guess. And so the first episode is pretty much Vision having his boss, Mr. Hart, and Mrs. Hart over for dinner. Of course, they get a little confused because there's an actual heart, and Wanda interprets it with the help of Agnes that it's their anniversary. So there's a little bit of comedic effect there. Little struggles getting to the food, and all this other stuff. And they sit down to eat breakfast food, which is, for me, I love breakfast food. Fantastic. But anyway, so you have that going on. And Mrs. Hart asks where they're from, why don't they have kids yet, all this other stuff, and they're struggling to answer it. Mr. Hart actually chokes on food, and Mrs. Hart, who actually was in another TV show, believe she was in Friends, but anyway, she's repeating "stop it," and it's Wanda and Vision looking really weird, what the heck is going on. Vision ends up saving. Vision ends up getting a promotion. Towards the end of the episode, we see that Wanda and Vision just they figure out their anniversary date. They figure out their song, which is Yakety Yak, which I find kind of funny. And then they get their wedding rings and all this other stuff. And it's cool. It's cute. It's all that fun stuff. And then we get to the end where it shows a TV screen and someone clicking things, like a whole setup. Now, obviously, I have my personal theory. I have a couple theories on this, but I'll share it at the end, but this confused the heck out of me. Then we get to the outro and all this other stuff. And that's where this episode ends. Episode 2 is very much like Bewitched. I don't know how many of you guys know the story. It's pretty much quite similar to WandaVision, in fact, of you have a husband and wife, but the wife actually has powers. In this case, both of them have powers, but anyway. And so the story is a talent show that's going on. And it is interesting, to say the least. And they've had some problems of certain things knocking on their house at night, Wanda and Vision in particular. And so Vision goes to figure out, hey, what the heck are the policies are. Gets to hang out with a couple of the guys there. That's a fun scene. He chews gum. It accidentally swallows and goes into his gears. I love the little animation for that. It's very much that era, which I think is great. Simplifying it a little bit of his actual gears. which makes him look a little drunk once we get to the actual show. And he's doing a whole bunch of just stuff, and Wanda's like stuff he's like they're not supposed to be doing, like Vision flying and putting a hat through him, and Wanda's having to come up on the spot with like ways to show illusions to make them seem normal. They want to fit in, or at least Wanda wants them to fit in. At the end of the episode, they show after they won their first prize and all that other stuff for the fundraiser stuff. Oh, and I didn't even talk about the women's meeting, like the little PTA meeting. That was interesting, kind of your average little thing there. I don't really know, but anyway, besides the point. We see at the end there's a little like beekeeper boy thing. I don't know what the heck to put with him. But here's the thing. Wanda says no. Backtracks back to the pregnant scene where she and Vision find out that Wanda's pregnant, which is awesome. It's great, you know. Congratulations there. Then we see the color change. Now there's a whole bunch of other stuff other than the beekeeper that appeared in this episode, such as, of course, you have the little plane that's there, which has the sword logo on it, which confirms sword is the one that's outside the world. And you have the radio, a guy on the radio saying, "Wanda, who's doing this to you, Wanda?" And then it all transfers into color. They both kiss, which, again, color did start to appear in the 60s for shows. So once we get to the end of Bewitched, it does turn into color. But anyway, man, what an episode that was. The first one, in my opinion, was okay. It wasn't great, but the second episode, really, really good. Now let's get to the third episode. This one's insane. So this is the one that just premiered as of today, Friday, January 22nd. Of course, we're now in the lovely 70s, and there is two shows that really stand out. For one is the Brady Bunch, which is very much that transition style that they had. A little bit for some of it, but most of it was actually Partridge Family related. I recognized the song instantly. It's the Come On Get Happy song. So Wanda is, as of the moment, 4 months pregnant. But Vision, being the lovely guy that he is asking so many questions about, well, what if the pregnancy speeds up? He asked this, of course, trying to figure out, because remember, Wanda's a superhero, and because of that, her pregnancy goes a lot faster. We literally see her whole entire pregnancy throughout this episode, from the 4-month to the birthmark. Pun not intended there. And so he's asking all these questions. Both of them are kind of stressing. Both of them are having a good dandy old time. Vision's reading up on things, trying to make sure everything's A-okay. And there's a lot of weird things that happen in this episode. A lot of weird things. For one of his neighbors, I forget his name. I'm pretty sure it starts with it's like Sherman, I think. Or Herman. But he's like accidentally cutting through the brick, which is weird. You normally wouldn't do that. And on top of that, you have all the stuff with Wanda's pregnancy, which is insane. She's causing like a whole bunch of messes, like sinks overflowing, her fridge splattering, like a whole bunch of stuff because of her contractions. And so Vision's trying. Soon throughout the episode, we get to that 9-month mark. And Vision thought it was Friday. Turns out it's not. And it's happening now. And so there's like, the electric goes out. And like, rain is like coming through their house. Which is really, really weird. And of course, Wanda makes the pun saying her water broke. You know, all this other stuff. You know, naturally, for a 70s sitcom. Vision rushes to get the doctor, which I don't know why the heck he doesn't think of the fact that it's weird that he was there earlier and he's there now and it's like 9 months process. Like, I don't know, like they didn't really touch on that, but I found that very weird. Luckily, Geraldine is there to help, and she tries to help Wanda, which she does, helping to deliver the first baby. which is Tommy. They were going back and forth between names, Tommy or Billy, and Tommy is the first one. And yeah, that's cute. And then we realized she's pregnant with the second one, which obviously we saw from the trailers, 2 cribs, so we know. And it's a fun scene, you know, both Wanda and Vision kind of getting all, and of course, we see later, both Wanda and Vision are just holding the 2 kids, which is now Tommy and Billy, which is great. It's an adorable scene. Vision helps to escort the doctor out, which he chimes in saying, can we actually walk this time? Because Vision sped walk, kind of revealing his powers again. Not the smartest move by Vision, but I understand the hurry. And so now it's just Geraldine and Wanda together. And Wanda mentions how she was a twin. Pietro, we still see the sadness in her eyes without her brother. Geraldine says he was killed by Ultron, wasn't he? And she just gets in a fit of rage, and we see later that she gets thrown out of Westview, of this little bubble that they have, which is towards the end of the actual episode here. Oh, this was huge. We then see the sword on her necklace, revealing that she is a part of it, which we've been seeing so many hints going on. And now before Geraldine actually gets like tossed out of the Vision residence, we see Agnes and again Herman or Sherman, I don't remember, talking about Geraldine, how they don't know where she's from. She doesn't have a home. And all this other stuff is building the tension for what's about to happen. Like, they don't know. Sherman wants to say something, Herman, whatever, wants to say something, but Agnes stops him. All I'm saying is, this episode was definitely the best of the 3 so far. Just in terms of intense action and all this other stuff. Or just drama and the build-up for what's to come. So, of course, we get to the end of the episode. And we see her fly out of the little bubble. And then we see all the like sword team just kind of rally around her. Make sure she's okay, all that stuff. I'm sure we'll probably see something like that eventually. But holy crap. What an episode. Honestly, I still have no clue what's going on. But anyway, if I had to rank them, it's definitely 1, 3, 2, 1. Third one so far has been the best. The second one was good. The first one was also pretty good as well. Overall, it's a very interesting series. It on its own is very hard to understand if you're not an MCU fan. So if you're like watching this and this is the first introduction to the MCU, you're probably going like, what the heck is going on? But if you've watched the MCU, I think it's super enjoyable. I've been enjoying it. It's definitely a huge departure for them. But I absolutely love this. I want to see more departures for the MCU. I think it's fantastic. I like it. So far, so good. I'm excited for the 4th episode. I think it's going to be a blast. I still have no clue what the heck is going on, though. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you did enjoy the video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe down below and hit the bell to be notified for more videos on Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, the parks, and so much more. I'll see you all in the next video. Have a magical day, and also have a marvelous day. Good.